Just fucking do it. Subscribe now.
But here's the problem. There's an even divide between the two employees. There are young hustlers, but there's also people who've been around that are used to the seniority and they're used to being treated right, and they have resentment with the new policies. Okay? So there's a bit of a
culture clash.
Exactly, culture clash. Okay? Here's the thing though, he implemented this in 1993, it's 99 now. So 6 years have went by.
He would have known it in 6 weeks or 6 months.
Exactly, right. But they're still here, and it says even divide. Even divide is how they quote it. So the question is, did he make a mistake in 97? Should he have sold for 16 times EBITDA in 97?
What did he buy it for?
What was that? It's
So the revenue in 93 was 2.6 million. We don't know. There's all sorts of breakdowns, so we didn't calculate the whole EBITDA. But 350% increase of respective of profit and revenue from 2.6 million 4 years ago.
2, 4, 6. So it went up 7 million, 7.5, 8 million.
Yeah.
That's 350%. Okay.
Yeah, and it's been growing again. What was the growth?
We don't have the exact growth rate.
Okay.
And then that's when he was offered 16 times?
He was offered 16 times in 97.
Okay,
yes.
but we don't know.
Right at the 350. We don't know
what he bought it at.
Right. Yeah, because they both, he was a founder. So one of them founded in 76, 46. They merged in 93 due to issues. So we don't know how much, if that was sustainable, the 350% increase until 19.
Well, I would have hit the bid, as they say.
You'd have won for it.
I would have sold.
Right, 16 times EBITDA on.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Right. Okay.
You don't go broke taking profits.
So now that we've acknowledged it's a mistake, okay, he should have sold in 97. It's now 99. He didn't sell. Okay, and it says he's still been going up. He's been trending upward, but I don't think it was as steep of an increase. It's beginning to plateau now. Okay, but 6 years have gone by. He still has this culture clash.
No,
so now
his leadership skills are probably about as good as the average of our class.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, you don't just wake up. I mean, 90% of mergers fail because of culture clash. They they don't get around. You got artsy fartsy, and you try to put it in with hard ass suits.
Yeah.
So he made a mistake.
No doubt.
He compounded the mistake by the fact that he's allowed that to last all those years.
Although he saw a 350% increase after the merge, it means it was
well,
successful.
I mean, the culture clash, when everybody's making a lot of money, you don't worry as much about culture. If you're just making a living, you worry that, they're making me wear a suit now or not, and I can't come to work in my jogging clothes or whatever the reasoning is. So, but it sounds to me that, was he hands-on manager? Was he there all the time? Or
it doesn't specify. That's something that's not in the article. What it does tell us is that he wants to get out. He's an older individual, right? So
and
now
he did have multiple partners and multiple employees. So
yeah.
I would assume everybody was helping him manage.
Yeah. So we're talking about solutions, okay? And JD mentioned about the Sally Peña method, right? Where you can half of them, and then
we can more than half.
Okay, more than half, and then you double
80 or 90% of the employees, and we went cash flow positive in one day.
Okay, so for the sake of this, 50% are hustling, 50% are content and comfortable. Okay, you can the 50%, and then I believe you said double the revenue. I don't know if that's or double the.
Yeah, but you know,
salary.
Well,
double salary.
The salaries are going to go right to the bottom line. You're not paying anymore,
right?
Whatever you were paying them. But how do you ascertain who's, some of the laissez-faire guys are going to be producers, and some of the, the hard asses are going to be producers. You can't just say because of the different cultures.
Right.
You have to do it based on some metrics, some, performance, KPIs, whatever you want to use.
Right.
And but after merger, there normally are reductions anyway. Not just reductions that you make because you're going to fire people, but reductions that, I don't want to work here. Most culture clashes, have a 20 to 40% reduction in employees. I don't have to take this shit. I'm not going to, they just leave. Yes?
I was thinking it's the emotional bank account of the owner. His managerial skills suck. And I was also thinking his emotional bank account isn't that big because he allowed them to stay. And the longer they stay, the longer they
become entrenched.
Correct.
And the longer you don't make a change,
right,
the harder it is. The employer is going to say, well, why now?
So what's a good time frame? I was thinking a month at the most. That's what
No. I mean,
Stop now.
if you're going to be PC, 6 months. If you're going to be like Sally, we took over on Friday and she sacked them all on Tuesday. Now, they had hired, this one example we're talking about, that we were hired by LaSalle Bank, who was owned by ING Bank, who ING Bank thought that I was a genius. But LaSalle Bank tried for a couple of years to turn the deal around. They couldn't do it. And they brought in consultants and MBAs and all this, and they couldn't do it. And it was as obvious as anything. They had too many employees. The owners were riding around in $200,000-$300,000 cars, or the founders, $200,000-$300,000 cars. And all the founders, the minimum salary of the founder was $500,000. This is 20 years ago, $500,000. And then they had their fraternity brothers and everybody else in their dog working there. And we produced more revenue, top line revenue, with 80% less employees the first month, because they were obviously not working. So, but you'd have to get rid of people based on some sort of performance matrix, not just willy-nilly. Now, I'm accused and teased, and Dan just fires every third person. I have done that when all the people were worthless.
Right.
But I couldn't get rid of all of them, so I just went every third. That's true. There always is some truth to the stories, but they were all worthless as shit. So I fired every third person. And if you happen to be the good, lucky guys, were off sick that week. And they came back smiling, or they turned in sick notices, whether they were sick or not.
They get sick knowing that you're going to come on.
Well, yeah, human resource, I'm sure, leaked it.
Yeah.
I'm positive.
Yeah.
Called up their mates, their third cousin, get a flat tire. I'm going to come in this morning. The old man's on the rampage. Yeah.
Mr. Peña, what do the average CPA firms sell for in terms of?
Well, a single proprietorship, accountant CPA, sells between 0.75 and 1.25 top line revenue. So if he's producing $1 million by himself, he'll sell between $750,000 and $1.25 million. And the difference, that spread, is based on who are his customers, who are his clients. Are they the IBMs of this world? Are they the Siemens of this world, which they wouldn't hire a one-man shop like that? How long have they been customers? New customers are given little or no value. The same thing for a one-man dentist. Single proprietorships are valued at top line between 3/4 and 1.25 times the yearly revenue. So that's what a single proprietorship for and it doesn't make sense to buy. It's less than 4 employees. 4 employees. So if he's got 1.5 accountants, and he's got one receptionist and 1 junior accountant,
It seems like a lot of these cases that you have us do now as a group are how we together build our emotional bank account. Is that correct?
That's all.
Part of it. Yeah. Part of it is. Have you guys done Pixar yet? Yeah.
Yes, I'm doing that one.
Okay. Well, all 4 groups have a different take. Well, I don't know what your take is going to be, but the other 3 groups all have a different take on Pixar. Same information. And that's why we do it, because I've already got you past the glass is half full, not half empty. We're already past that. Okay, everybody, but there's still different ways to look at it. And when you look at these case studies and you realize that 9 times out of 10 there is no cash flow to cover the debt service if it was going to be a buyout like that, and there's always a mix. And even though I want you to do vanilla deals, plain and simple to begin with. Ultimately, some of Marcus's deals, not the last 2 deals, but the 2 deals before that, they had fucking bells and whistles and all kind of shit. But now he's got 7, 8, 9 years of experience in doing those things. It's remarkable to see the transition in the kids. I've seen a transition in Bruce the Whipple. I hope you're listening to this, Bruce. I mean, he's a much better guy doing this 25 years later. But if he wasn't, I wouldn't be still doing joint ventures with him. If he, but I've also have a handful of people that got worse. They came out of the blocks and hit a grand slam home run dinosaur deal. Mostly by serendipity, being at the right place at the right time. Little to do with the dream team and all this other stuff. But now they're geniuses. And they've ridden, the horse into the ground. It's like the email I got this morning. The sheriffs are there collecting the fucking furniture. And that does bother me. It doesn't break my heart. 25 years ago, it would break my heart that the sheriffs are there. I'd pause to think. But now I just realize this isn't for everybody. Everybody can't make the emotional decisions that are required. All the guys and gals that are the billionaires up there on the wall have either started with a fairly strong emotional bank account or got tough quick, got scar tissue quick. John's not the same guy as he was before this deal. He's not. He's got scar tissue. Bank lied to him. I mean, my parents' generation never thought that a bank would lie. Maybe your parents too, depending on where you're from. But I mean, and the bankers always have a reason, and they don't call it a lie because the facts change, like Raymond says. The facts change. Really, I'm not. Some of the financial institutions are disingenuous because they already know the facts are changing, but they sell you on the old parameters, knowing that they're going to have to come back to you and change the parameters, or they're going to ultimately they want you to put some cash in. And so if they trick fuck you right at the end to put cash in, you're more likely to put it in because you want to close the deal.
That's right. Yeah. Until they know you're not going to change banks.
Yep.
Then that's when they talk to you. Like, hey,
yeah.
Underwriter, just
yeah, and they always blame the underwriter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the truth of the matter is, in big banks, you don't go to the underwriter unless you're over 10 million in a deal. There is no underwriter. It's them. So they're most times they use that they're giving you bullshit. Or they may have had a deal, 2 healthcare deals in the last 30, 45, 60 days that cratered. And they, I can't, I'm going to get laughed off out of the room when I bring this deal. So let's tighten it up. Let's get some equity here. Let's get some more and squeeze the guy. So go ahead.
Besides getting rid of your family to build your emotional bank account and taking risks, doing things
No. It's not. It's people that you're emotionally tied to. I call it family, but it extends beyond your family.
Yeah.
You got a grandmother you love to death, right? It doesn't mean you got to stop, calling her once a month or whatever you do, or go by and seeing her every other month. But it's the people that emotionally are draining on you, potentially can drain on you. Yeah. And normally that's your close-knit family, and maybe your extended family. And if you've got brothers and sisters, I would do anything for my brother, my kid brother. But he's never called on me. Came close a couple of times, but so I'm emotionally tied to him because I'm old enough to just about be his father. I'm emotionally tied. So he has a direct chain on my neck. Big older brother, but it's what you have to toughen up, scar tissue. Now, if you are capable of going to 2 weddings a year and 4 funerals a year, I have more funerals than weddings these days, and not be bothered and not be worn out and not be avoiding conversations with people, what do you do? Why don't you get a real fucking job? In my end of the family, let's get a real fucking job. When was the last time you had a paycheck? Now, maybe your families don't ask those kind of questions, but they're thinking them. They're definitely thinking them. And the younger you are, the more influence they think they have over you. I mean, he was in diapers, they will say. When I was in my early, he was in diapers. I remember him wiping his ass. I had an aunt. And she probably did clean my ass once. But now I'm 28 and I'm driving a Rolls Royce. How's your program working out? When I was really young, I used to come back with that. I've been driving a Rolls since I'm 26 and a half. and living in $1 million houses, which was a big deal back in those days, how's your program working out? Or I used to say, let me see your hands, the mechanics and shit. You know, you can't get the fucking blood out, or not blood, grease. But we all know who's got the biggest chain hook on us.